It seems so many homeschool moms are always on the hunt for the perfect planning system. Today I'm going to share with you the evolution of the different paper planners that I've used, what I've liked about different ones and what I've not liked about them. And then I will share in another video my updated planner system that I'm currently using. So, if you are new here, I am Tricia. I'm a homeschooling mom 2-3. I will have kids in 9th, 5th, and 3rd grade this year, and this will be our 10th year homeschooling. It's crazy. So, when I started out, obviously I only had one kindergarten. The boys were babies, basically. So I only had one. And the very first thing I tried was a traditional teacher planner, the green cover ones that you would get at a teacher supply store. And I was just way over enthusiastic and things didn't follow through. So that was, I don't have it originally, sorry. That was my original system. So then my next thought was, okay, one of the things that I had found was that some days Elizabeth wanted to spend a lot more time in one subject than in another. So what I did was just, and this is as basic as can be, in Word, I made up a sheet that just has 36 boxes, 4x9, and I would go through and just, so this would be for math, and I put math up here, and I would just write assignments, so like, maybe pages 8 and 9 in math, pages 10 and 11 math, whatever, on here. And then and I would do it for each subject. So if she wanted to do 3 lessons in math, well, I had it all ready, I had it prepared. Same way with phonics. If we hit a really good pace and we wanted to keep going and do, split the code pages and then whatever the readers are and activity, I had it all ready. And it forced me to make sure that I had lots of days worth ready at any given time. And with balancing toddler, newborn, some days we just didn't have much time to do something, and some days the boys would sleep for hours and we could knock out a bunch of stuff. So this was really good for the flexibility of it. And then I just whole bunched them and put them inside a binder. Currently I use this just for history and science, and it just gives me an overview. I put the topic, the main topic for each week of the school year, and there's 36. That works out perfectly. It just helps me to kind of an overview visual. So that was the original, and it worked well. And then we got to, and we use this for kind of a preschool, kindergarten, 1st grade type thing. But then I got to the point where I needed to be a little more structured with it. I didn't want to get so far ahead in one subject and then have a lot to catch up on with another subject. And I was noticing that certain subjects would take Elizabeth longer than others. Some were harder, some were easier, you learn that. So what I switched to, the version I'm going to show you was like the most current version, not what we originally started with, but she ended up using this up until this past school year. So I just did days of the week across the top, and then I made a little spot for activities where I could list whatever was going to happen that day if we had anything out of the house. And then I color-coded subjects. So the subjects that were the hardest for her or the most time-consuming would be at the top. And how many would just, again, vary by the year and what subjects were going on. And then the next chunk of color would be things that would be still on the harder or time-consuming side, but a little bit easier. And then red, and then green. And then there'd be one more down at the bottom, and that would have an idea for her, or for a break. And she could go do something. Hold off. So that would be a break. So what we would do is she would choose something from the top color. We would do that. Then we'd choose something from the next color, and then the next color. And then she would go do a break. So she could choose what I wrote down or choose something on her own. It would not be anything more than 15 minutes or so. She could go upstairs to her room, she could go have a snack, she could run outside, whatever. And it worked really well because she knew that as we went down, things were getting easier. So she felt accomplishment as we marked off the harder things. And then it was also easier to, as she was losing brain power, like the subjects at the bottom, I knew were going to be easy and be quick, and they weren't going to be any kind of a struggle for either one of us. And it worked really well. And so I would just print out one of these each week and write down the subjects that needed to happen. Cross off the days where she wouldn't have that subject, and it was a really good system for her. The color coding worked really well to teach her pacing. Now, as she got older, we kept the colors just for visual sake, but she didn't do it in the same way. Back up. Once she got done with her break, then we would start back up at the top and go down them. So oftentimes there would only be 2 or 3 subjects in the hardest colors, so that way after a break, as the day went on, we would know, okay, we've got something easier, So anyway, it was really good for teaching her pacing and about distributing the hard things and the easy things. For her, she needs that. Tackle something hard and then move on to something easier and go down the list. Ben, my 10-year-old, isn't like that at all. He wants to be able to tackle everything hard to begin with and then move on. So for him, this system did not work. This system worked for, we used this starting in about 2nd grade. Yeah, 2nd grade, maybe 3rd grade, somewhere around there, all the way through 7th grade. It would have worked in 8th grade too, but the way her schedule worked out, she just didn't need something like this anymore. So this was definitely a good setup for her. If you have a child who has something like this might work for, it was just easy to do. I set it up in Excel, and yeah, it just worked. It worked really well for her. We'd do the subjects. Sometimes we would do other. I would just put other, and that could be, so I could fill in whatever. The original idea from this kind of came from the workbox system, which was really popular when Elizabeth was at that age. And how they would, you make up your workboxes with different things in it. So that's kind of where it originally came from, and then kind of evolved into something not like that. Anyway, I loved this. Now, along with this, during the years I used this, I had a couple other things that I used for other parts of our day. So, this I just made as a visual overview of our year. I would list out the months that we do school and then the different subjects. And so I would know, as I started planning things, I would know kind of what was going on. So we'd have our artist studies, our Bible things, our mini units, history, read aloud, science, and field trips. This was all things that we would do together. And it was just really helpful for me to kind of be able to see what was coming up and kind of a year at a glance. I moved into using the well-planned day, and I believe my 2nd video was this. While I was using this, I would still use this to give Elizabeth her individual assignments. I will link this video. I've never gone back to watch it. Keep in mind it was my 2nd video. Maybe 3rd, something like that. I liked the well-planned day well enough. Cost was a big reason why I stopped using it, and then the other big reason was because I hated writing in every single thing each day. There is room for 4 kids' assignments in each subject, and I just hated it. I found myself getting to the point where I wouldn't plan anything in it because I hated having to write in each kid's things. If you've never seen it, it's really a pretty good thing. This was from 2013. There's a lot of things in here that I just didn't use, and that was part of the other reason, was that if I was using it well, the cost would have been worth it, but I was finding that I just wasn't using it enough, combined with being annoyed about having to write in everybody's assignments, that I just decided to switch off of that. The blank day. So blank day would have all your subjects, like I said, space for up to 4 kids per subject. There's a spot for priorities and menu, weekend activities. So it worked out well for what it was. I just, you can see days that were filled in. I just found I wasn't using it as much as I wasn't getting my money's worth out of it, and I was annoyed by it. So I decided rather than doing that, I would go on. I've got an invader. Sorry. They also have a student version. I am considering Elizabeth. I need to get her a planner for the school year, so we may end up getting the student version for her. The next evolution was my very first video, and again, I will link it. But again, keep in mind, it was my very first video. And it was, at the time, it was a free thing from, I can't even think of her name now, Donna, I don't remember. I'll put it down. Anyway, the website has all kinds of free homeschool printables, but they recently changed, maybe a couple years ago, they changed it so that you have to pay for most of it, including this. And it's an Excel template that would, what I liked about it, because one of the things I hated about that one that I said is that I had to write in everything. So with this one, I got kind of a similar setup. I had my days and my subjects filled in, and then it didn't have anything filled in, but I discovered that I could edit it and put things in for me. Now so I could put in like the subject, but I would still have to put in the assignments. But it worked really well for me. I color coded the kids' letters, or the kids' assignments, so that I would know anything that was in blue was Ben's, anything in green was Elizabeth's, red was Matthew. And it worked really well. I liked it. It was a 2-page spread. It was very helpful. And I used it for a few years. But then, I'm not even exactly sure what made me switch off of it. I know I wanted to give some try to some different electronic planners. And I don't really have a good reason why I switched away from it. I really liked it. It had a notes section on the end, so I could put in things. I customized them for a to-do section and other books from the library that I would need, and then things I would need to do for next week. And it worked well for me. Like I said, I don't really know why I switched. But I just got to a point where I was kind of bored with it. I wanted something different. Try some electronic things. Yeah, I don't have a good reason. When I first started using it, I would just print from one week to the next, back to back. And then I found this from Living Well, Spending Less. It was kind of a weekly overview. And I really liked it, so I would print it on the back of one day, or one of the sheets. Just kind of give me an overview of the week. So yeah, like I said, you may have seen this one if you ever watched my first video. I will link it, but again, remember, it was my first video. And actually, I think it was right around 3 years ago. I think I put it up in July 2015. Oh, you know what? And part of it was also that I was just finding that when it was just Elizabeth who needed a sheet like this, it was easy enough to do. But then Ben needed one too, and so I felt like I was doing extra work. I was, doing it on here, writing it all on here, and then writing it again all over. I'm sorry, my animals are in here and they're distracting me, and the kids are keep opening the door. What? Yes, you may. I forgot. So that was part of why I decided to switch away from that, because I was just too much of doubling up, repetitive work. So I kept the overview sheet, and then I created in Publisher another sheet for me. So again, the kids each got their own customized box, and I could just write down here, like if someone had a quiz, if Elizabeth had a quiz, or someone was starting a new book or something, I could make whatever notes I needed to. And then I had history and science, anything that needed done, books and supplies I needed to get, and then miscellaneous. And then a weekly kind of overview of our out of the home schedule. So this is what I used all of last year, and I think maybe all of the year before, or part of the year before. So what I am going to be using this current year looks a lot like this. I've just kind of updated it with my own. I created my own weekly overview and whatever. And I'll be putting that up on my blog for free printable. When I get to it, I'll let you know. When it's put up, I'll let you know. Anyway, let me double check. That is all. Yes, that is all of the evolution of my different planners and my thoughts about them. And yeah, if you have any questions about any of the ones I did or showed, please leave me a comment below. What I am, like I said, I am using kind of this year, and then OneNote for history and science, and then Homeschool Panda for the rest of the stuff. And it may seem like a lot of different parts, but it kind of combines the best of everything that works for me. So, and this is a long video. If you're still watching, thanks for hanging in there this long. Again, if you have any questions about any of these, be sure to leave me a comment below. Be sure to hit subscribe if you have not already done so. In July, you'll see my videos for the different electronic planners that I've used, our online planners, as well as a walkthrough of my current paper planner setup. If you can hear that, that's my cat purring. And you'll see on screen right now my original planner video. Be kind, video number 1. Thanks for watching.